Hi there. So in this video, I'm going to show you quickly how to interact with a relational database management system in C++. Particularly, I'm going to use a third-party library. C and C++ have been around for decades, but unfortunately, there haven't been a standard database interactivity library available in C or C++, which is sad. However, there are some cool uh, libraries out there, third-party libraries, and also various database vendors have released their own connectors or drivers. In database world, we usually call those drivers or driver backends, whatever, for those databases. For example, MySQL has a MySQL C connector, Oracle call interface, OCI, is a C interface for Oracle libraries, and Oracle also has a Oracle C, C++, OCCI interface, and so forth. So those are like mainly probably wrappers around C, which we don't need to know about. So what that also means is that if you want to interact with such databases, you will have to rely on those specific connectors and their interfaces. And also there is no common interface such as the JDBC for C and C++. There had been this ODBC interface. However, when it comes to like compliant or native way of doing things, there hasn't been a way to do that. So I'm gonna show you one particular library that caught my eye on interacting with databases in C++, which is this library called SOCI. In fact, it was also started, for example, if I just show you its GitHub page, it's licensed under BSL, Berkeley software license. And you also see details about this library, the C++ database access library. It was initially an abstraction layer for Oracle, and it was called Simple Oracle Call Interface, and that's what SOCI meant previously. But now it has, like for many years actually, not now, it has been supporting other databases as well. So now it's called simple open database call interface, and that's what this SOCI stands for. So I'll refer to this library as SOCI. I don't know how exactly to pronounce it. You may call it SOCI. I'll just call it SOCI. So to work with this library, you need to either build the library from the repository, or most of the time your operating system package managers also support bringing in the compiled libraries to your machines as well. But in my case, I'll show you how to build this as well. So it's pretty simple, but there needs to be a lot of other dependencies when it comes to building. So I'm already in this particular location, as you can see. I have done a lot of building on this in various different operating systems and so forth. So let me, for example, show you. It's actually coming from the same GitHub repository, as you can see. And to build this, so let me create a build directory that's quite recommended. And then if I just go into that, and now I need to issue a cmake command because now it's built using cmake. So I'll just put it down here and explain what exactly it does. So I'm, it looks huge, but if you dissect it, it's very easy. So cmake build type, I'm saying to build it in the release mode, not the debug mode. And if you want debug symbols to be included in your build shared objects or whatever, you can make it debug as well. So cmake install prefix is where things will get installed. So I have just given a location where I normally maintain my libraries and so forth for SOCI. And also I have given the CXS11 switch on with boost on, and some other stuff. I don't want to go exactly what these different parameters say, and it's very well documented in the SOCI documentation as well. So with MySQL on, of course, that's quite explanatory on what it does. And MySQL directory, you need to give, this is what is crucial. You need to give the relevant MySQL development files, and also include the libraries relevant for MySQL and so forth, and other libraries as well. For example, this is the directory. I can show you in the, for example, if I just copy this and go to here and show you, uh, currently that is not there, so this is there. So then I need to change that to 33 here. So let me try to do that. So while doing that, you also see with ODBC on, and then the ODBC directory is given. I need to check all these things and make sure that I have the relevant directories on. For example, I doubt I have this as well, but I do know that I have it installed. So let's check on those. So you can install, yeah, it is there. So this is for ODBC. So SOCI also supports ODBC, and you can check for this as well. So, so you can install the relevant ODBC, MySQL libraries, and client libraries and stuff using your operating system. So now I'm running this in Mac, and that's why it's a dynamic lib extension. Otherwise, if you're on Ubuntu or Fedora type of a operating system, you will see a shared object with .so and so forth, right? And for this, let's see whether I have PostgreSQL. In case if you don't want all of this, you can switch this off. And because I thought I should have all these libraries in my build, I just happened to include it as well. It's nothing hurts building all of that as well, even if you don't want to. But if you have specific requirements, as you know, you just want to interact with SQLite, for example, you can just build that part and leave the rest. So we don't have that. So let's see. Yeah, I have the 42. So these libraries have been updated, I believe. So when I updated my machine to, so let's make it 42 there, and I need to make sure that I do the same here as well for this. So I'm not gonna fully show you how to, I mean, I'm not gonna wait till things are built because I have already done the build. So I just want to make sure that it just passes my first step to show you things are all good. So if you see it's 42.0 there as well. So I just need to make sure 42.0. Fine. And so these now for Oracle as well, you need to download the Oracle libraries from oracle.com, from Instant Client SDK, as well as Instance Client, which has this libocci.lib. So this is the library that I was talking about earlier. And if you are to interact with Oracle and you are comfortable working with this libocci and okay to have that Oracle specific interfaces, you can do that as well. However, what actually Okay, so what actually SOCI provides is it just gives a very beautiful interface for us to work generically across different databases, regardless of what's your backend is, whether it is Oracle or MySQL and so forth. So it makes a common interface. It's like JDBC, and it just gives you a like a wrapper. Fine. So all of these and I'm also not building the static libraries out here. So with this, we can just go on. So this will just make things fine, and it will find out the relevant libraries and explain to you what libraries will be built and what libraries won't be built and so forth. So as you can see, it's just detecting my PostgreSQL here, it's detecting ODBC here, it's detecting MySQL here, and so forth. Like if you just look at DB2 is not found, Firebird is not found. Those are okay, and Oracle is found. No, this is PostgreSQL. For some reason, it's not getting the Oracle, but you just need to see if these locations are correct, and if those locations are correct, things will work fine. And then you just have to issue make and make install. And in my case, I'll show you that I have these libraries successfully built, and I will leave that as an exercise for you. So I have installed it here. Um, so for example, oops. And as you can see, I have the Oracle library built, PostgreSQLite, MySQL, and the core library. And there's something called empty as well. So let's just dive into a simple interface, a query, how to do that thing and so forth. Now, I do need to include the SOCI.h, and if you are just working with MySQL and you are fine with having a dependency on SOCI MySQL, you can include that as well. And then let's just dive into our main function, and you need to have a session object, as you can see. And yeah, so I'm including the SOCI namespace. Otherwise, you will have to prepend SOCI : session and so forth. So I'm including MySQL. I'm telling MySQL is my database. Now, see, it's an object. So this is possible because you included this backend header file, and that's a SOCI backend header file. And then you have to give the connection string. So you have to tell what is your DB. In my case, I have a DB called SOCI DB, and I have a user called root. Of course, you normally don't do a root level access, but this is a demonstration, so I'll just do it like that, and my password. And I'll show you the database here. So basically, I have a database called SOCI DB, and I have a table called users. So you can just describe that as well. This is a MySQL database. So let's describe it and see what it gives. It has an ID column, which is an int, and first name, last name, email, those are varchars, and then active, which is a tiny int, and a middle name, which is a varchar, and so forth. So if I just select all here, I have a certain number of records, as you can see. So this is what we are going to fetch from our call here. So the initially I have declared three strings here, and fine. So three strings, and then so basically we are reading data from the user. So get data method will be called. So get data method will just prompt you a prompt, which is this one. So enter and so forth, and then we are using the cin to read in that value to this value which you are passing, which is your string. So it will be in that string, and then we are using insert user. So insert user method is this, which is simple. So it has you are passing the SQL session object that you just created, and first name, last name, and email. And then it gives a very nice syntactic sugar in SOCI, so which is compatible like your cout/c in streaming operations and so forth. So SQL, and you can use this operator, and then insert into users, first name, last name, email, and values are these values. And then it has these nice function called use. So use the first name for the fn here, use the last name for ln, and use the last name for e, and so forth. So this basically, when this particular line executes, it executes the insert statement, and it successfully inserted the user. You'll see that, and then we'll see the display user. And display user does the same, but you are using something called a row set. And again, a nice syntax sugar here, where this SQL, you prepare the statement that you want to get all the users here. And then this is just like an iterator based, it has an iterator for you to go through all the records that it returns. So from begin to end, you are iterating, which will have a row in each iteration. And then in the each row, you can use this get function. And then you have to know the type of the column. And it's also not a requirement, because this row has other functions like indicators and so forth. I'm not going to go into that, but you can do that as an exercise for you to figure out what's the type is. You can dynamically figure out what the type is, and based on that you can generically write your methods to cast this with int or string or whatever, right? So I have already built this as well. So let's see. Yeah, I have already built it, but if you want to build it, you just have to use your G++ or GNU library, or you can use Clang as well, CLang compiler if you have. So basically, in my include directories, I'm providing include directory where I have kept the SOCI includes, and then I need there are some other includes that I have included. Sometimes you don't need all of that. So because I'm including the MySQL SOCI, I need to provide both of these libraries should be needed. You don't need this LC++. This is particularly the C standard library that's coming from LLVM. So you can either use or just use the GNU clib, and the library include directory is also provided. So once you have built that, you can just run this, and it's going to ask the question of first name. So let's say Tony, Greg, Tony, Greg @gmail.com. Yeah. So, and it fetches the details. As you can see, the Tony Greg's details are also there. So you can go figure out if that value is has come here. So you see 14 as the last one. So we should be able to get the final one stored here. So it's finally has successfully gone and inserted a row in the database, and then fetched and showed you as well. So now SOCI is a very advanced library. You can also have like these libraries dynamically loaded. They call it dynamic backend loading. So basically, you don't need to include this as well. So this is exactly what we're going to show you next. Yeah, I think it's this one. So see, in this particular thing, you don't have that particular include file in it. And then how does it get that value? It's based on this. Earlier I showed you, because of this header file, you could use this symbol MySQL, and that's not a string. But here in this case, it's a string. Once you provide a string, and SOCI knows to load that particular library dynamically. Of course, in that case, now in this build case, we provided SOCI MySQL, but in the second case, we are not, which is this one. I'm not providing that. I don't want to make my application dependent on that backend, because my application wants to interact with multiple database backends and so forth. Whatever that reason is, I haven't provided that. But with this string, the SOCI knows how to load the SOCI MySQL. But in that case, SOCI MySQL should be in your path. It should be in a searchable path in your directory. In my case, it is. For example, you can put it on the DILD library path as well in Mac. Okay, so let's run this and show that it's also doing the same. And yeah, so basically there is a value there. So this one I want to run. Simple query, dynamic loading. It's also asking something. So let me put Ravi Shastri. And that value is also returned. You can go double check that here, and that value is returned back. So this is a very simple demonstration, and then I'll just wrap up this demonstration with uh, basically a call to stored procedure. So you can do the stored procedure. It's just a matter of changing your syntax here. Rather than you using a select statement, you use your call and your stored procedure name. And depending on your database vendor, this call could be different. It could be sometimes exe. There are different other things. So refer your database vendor's documentation on what exactly it should be called. So in MySQL case, it has to be called. So I have a stored procedure registered here. As you can see, get all users. If I just run it, it will just bring back the same thing, but it just comes using your stored procedure. So inside the stored procedure, I'm just doing sorry. See, I'm doing the select ID, first name, last name, email, active from users. That's exactly what the stored procedure is executing. So let's see running this. Simple, and I already have that built as well. So sp call, and I have these insert values commented, so that's why it's not asking for them. I'm just displaying it, and voila, you have all the records. Done. I think that's all with SOCI. I want you to watch more videos of this type, but I just want to wrap up with one more idea of SOCI. So it is a very rich library. Uh, that's why it caught my eyes on, and I'm very happy that I found this library as well. And you can do a lot of other things. You can do batch operations. You can do dynamic binding. You can have your custom classes for object relational mapping. Whatever that you wish to have in normal database interaction, it's there in SOCI in some way or another, which is a great way. And happy database programming then. So we'll see you in another video. Thank you very much.